Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm live, I hope. And yeah, how's everybody doing? I couldn't stay away from y'all. And I don't have a whole lot to say, but I wanted to be present and I wanted to say hello. I'm still pretty weak and fairly tired. If you guys didn't hear, I had a bad health emergency down in Florida. And it was a real bummer because I was there 48 hours. Now it was 96, 97 degrees for a high the days that I was there and went collecting. And I really wasn't out in the heat for a really long time or anything. Maybe 5, 6 hours each day, maybe like 8 or 10 actually, like all added up. But the thing is, it only gets down to like 86 at night. And the first night I stayed with a friend, Brian, who is a great friend, and I want to say thanks. And hey, Brian, if you're watching this now or later, but felt great at his house because it was well, one, he lives close to the water, but two, he has AC, and he put his AC at 74 for me very kindly because I'm a polar bear from Seattle. Well, then when I went to my other friend's house, he keeps his at 78 to 82, somewhere in there. um and so with the humidity and everything, it just zonked me. There was no relief from the heat from someone from Washington who's a fatty, who's on medication for lupus, and the lupus medications of methotrexate, prednisone, things like that. You're not supposed to either be in the sun, uh, direct sun a lot, and you're not, and same with like antibiotics, kind of, right? And you're not supposed to drink alcohol, which I don't. And you're not supposed to be in extreme heat. Even hot tubs can be an issue, especially if you have lupus, autoimmune disorder, where your kidney and liver can have function issues. So I went out. I'm just going to tell you guys what was going on and what happened in my own words, in case you guys wanted to hear it, so that I don't have to repeat it in the comments. But I've been so incredibly overwhelmed by the kindness and compassion from all of you guys, all my friends, and you guys, as I've said many times over, you guys are my friends. You guys are my social life. You're my work life and my social life to a large extent. I have a few other friends that I see IRL, but a lot of my life revolves around the fish community, and a lot of you I know in real life. I come visit, I go film places, I go tour fish rooms. I talk with companies and importers, and people like Dan over at Dan's Fish, or Jason at Redfish Bluefish, George, who I went and toured, and they're all sincerely my friends. You guys are my friends, and you know who you are if we talk and chat and things like that. So the problem with the trip to Florida started on, well, really, I started feeling very tired, more than normal, like where I can't stay awake, where I'm kind of going like, trying to stay awake and stay with the conversation. And I was just feeling worn down, but my friends were up, and they were some folks that hadn't seen each other in a while were together. So it ended up being like a 1 in the morning kind of a not party but hangout at the friend's house, with the doors open to the patio because he has a pool, which is nice and everything. But the pool was 90 degrees, so it wasn't like I was going to go swimming to refresh. And I was just feeling worn out, and I was drinking all a bunch of water. So I drank water, and I'd been drinking Gatorade in the day, but I just drank water, drank water, drank water. And I was finally crashed around 2 in the morning, and I knew that I had to be up by 10. No big deal. That's plenty of time. By 10 to drive to go give my talk, which was going to be on the 10 most influential moments in fish keeping history in Tampa. And I was really excited to give the talk. I got all new slides, pretty much like 90% new imagery from any talk I'd given before, and similar bullet points, but I tweaked things a little bit and stuff. So that talk is still like ready to go in the chamber, so to speak, ready to go. That morning, though, at 7:30, 6:30, 7:30, I woke up and I'd been sleeping on the couch because there were so many people at the place, that we were relegated to couch, which was, I mean, that was kind, because I would have been staying in my car or a cheap hotel otherwise. And so I woke up and I stood up, and first thing, the room spun, and I was like, whoa, like what's wrong with me? And it turned out that I went and I have this feeling like I'm on a ship, very similar to that. And I know when I have that feeling, almost every time it's the start of a flu or having a cold. Like it's a very specific achy, tired, and like unbalanced, almost underwater feeling. And so I took my temperature, asked for a thermometer, took my temperature, and it was 104. And I thought it was wrong. I kept retaking it. And as I was doing that, I was like, man, I better take some, Tylenol or Advil or something. And I tried to pour it out of the bottle, and I just spilled it all over myself, onto my hands, onto the floor. And I was trying to pick it up, and I was seeing doubles, and I was just profusely sweating just from the minimal task of trying to open a pill bottle and take some Tylenol or whatever it was, ibuprofen. And so I started drinking ice water. And as I was standing there, I started kind of shaking like a chihuahua. And then I was wondering, like, man, do I have maybe like COVID or something? And yeah, Gary, real similar to vertigo. I've had vertigo in the past, from being on a ship for a long time, where they said it's like seasickness sort of thing, but it's your inner ear that's screwed up. And whenever I get a fever over about 101, I start getting vertigo. I don't know why. I don't know if there's fluid in your inner ear or something that expands or whatever it is. But also, and I'll say hi to everybody in a moment here. But I just wanted to give you guys the rundown. So I said, for the first time in my life ever, I mean, I've cut myself down to the bone. I've broken many bones, and I've been stabbed in the arm, and I've never said, call 911, I need an ambulance. But I told my friends, I don't know what's wrong with me. It's getting worse very quickly. I'm very sick. I need to get to an ER. I've never felt this bad. My vision was white and like closing in. Like I knew it was getting bad. And I knew that I wasn't doing well. Each heartbeat, I could see the white, fuzzy part vision kind of like closing in. And I was at a point where I was having to do this just to see like my phone. And I was trying to text the people that were putting on the uh, event for uh, Tampa Fish Club, who I was supposed to go speak for in 4 hours or whatever at that point. And I couldn't even see, like, I couldn't even type on my phone. I couldn't even text. So then I was going to call, couldn't even get that going. I just kept like, just my brain and my hand, it wasn't even working. It was very surreal. I've never experienced anything quite like that, where my motor skills, similar to when I got hit by lightning, actually, afterwards, but where my motor skills just nothing was working the way I wanted it to, right? So my friends are seeing this, and they've known me a long time. They've known me, one of them's known me 15 years, the other guy's known me 10 years and married my wife and I, really good friends. And so I said, I need to go to the hospital. They're like, we'll drive you. It'll be faster than an ambulance. So they picked me up by the armpits on either side, literally like I'm a wounded, soldier or something, because I try to leave the counter standing up, and I fall over. Like my balance is so bad. So then they put me in the back seat of I think it was an SUV. I think it was his girlfriend's car. And I got in face first and just remember crawling. It felt like I was trying to get up Mount Everest, just pulling myself across so that I was laying across the seat. And the car was hot already, just because it was like whatever by this point 9 in the morning, and it's Florida, and there's sun on the car for the last 2 hours or whatever. So it was already like 90 degrees in the car or whatever it may have been. And I just felt like I was dying with the fever and with the heat and everything. And there's this belt buckle jabbed into my stomach. And then I realized that my legs aren't in the car. And so they're like, you got to put your legs in, you got to put your legs in. And, so they literally fold my legs up, close the door. So I'm in the car laying like this with my legs up against the window and the door, and face down on the seat, no seatbelt. And they're like, we got to get him to the hospital. And they're calling my wife, and they're like, I'm just like, can you call the people can you call the fish show people that I'm talking to, and all that was in my head really was, I'm going to let these people down. I flew all the way to Florida. I got to talk to them, and I'm not going to be able to make it today. And little did I know I wasn't going to be able to make it for a long time. So we get to the hospital. They're going, what's going on with them? And my friends are like, we don't know. And I was like, I think I have COVID or something. And I'm like just pouring sweat. And at this point, my fever is like 104.8, almost 105. And then I lose consciousness. I totally blacked out as they're wheeling me on a like gurney, as they got me in the ER. And I go into basically like a coma or unconscious, and never had that happen for more than just being knocked out for a moment. So I end up in the hospital, and I'm guessing my brain was cooking at that point. 105 for an adult's pretty high temperature. So they gave me stuff, they hooked me up with IVs and all sorts of things like that. They check this out. They really did a number on me. It's gotten so much better, but maybe it doesn't look so bad on here. But under here, you can see they wrecked my whole vein up my arm, and they wrecked the vein on this arm. You can see the bruise all up the vein. They wrecked the ones here and here, in between my toes, on my hands, knuckles, other knuckles, on the inside of my wrists. So, I don't know if it's because I was so dehydrated that they were having such a hard time, but they could not get a IV in me, I guess. And I was feeling pain and hearing voices, but it was like the world was 1,000 miles away, and they're asking me questions, and they go, who's the president? And I go, Obama bin Laden. And I go, oh shit, that's wrong. I knew I had it wrong there. And then they're like, what state are you from? And I was like, Nevada, maybe, is what I said. And in my head, I'm like, that's wrong, you idiot. But it's all I could say. Like, I had no energy. I've never felt so close to maybe like dying, or I don't know what I guess you'd call it. I mean, I've been I had a appendicitis when I was 16 where it ruptured and went I had sepsis, and it was like inflammation all throughout my blood. I felt more messed up this time than that. And so I then totally go out, don't know what happens, and wake up a day and a half later in it's like 2 in the morning. Um and I'm in the ER, or not ER, the ICU, the so it's a small hospital, and there's like 35 beds, I think they said, and like 5 were for intensive care or whatever. And they had someone with me 24/7, literally sitting there with me monitoring everything. And my friends stayed for a while. Little did I know, my wife was on her way, which originally my wife was supposed to come on this trip because it's our 10th anniversary. It's our 7th wedding anniversary, but our 10th anniversary of being together. And that was on the 17th of the month, and that was the day that she arrived, as my I guess, the hospital told her that that she needed to come because they didn't know how I was gonna do. And the hospital said, quote, that they almost lost me. So I don't know what the heck happened that gave them that impression. I mean, just that I was that bad. So I'm feeling incredibly grateful to be talking and conscious and here and streaming. And yeah, so then they start trying to figure out what's wrong with me. My friends are telling them it's a heat stroke or something like that. They're thinking maybe it's COVID or whatever, so they're checking that. They're checking RSV. They're checking just all the kind of common things that could do that. They think maybe I'm having a pulmonary embolism or a stroke, like an actual stroke. Um, and so they did an angiogram. They did, and I'm allergic to contrast dye. That's on my chart. My friends who brought me in told them as much as well. So they gave me a contrast dye injection, and then they did CT scans on my abdomen, chest, and lungs, and they saw something um, in one of my lungs that looked granular. Is all it said. And yeah, where's the kitty from the thumbnail? Sorry, I wasn't gonna engage in the comments too much, but I that's my kitty that I've tamed from a feral cat that would not even come close to us. If I fed it, it would wait till I closed the door, and it would come and grab a couple pieces and then run. But during winter, when it was snowing, it finally gave in and wanted warmth, and came and snuggled up next to the dryer vent on the back side of the house with the washer and dryer. So I ran the dryer like 3 times in a row one night just to keep it having a warm area where it was snow all around. Um, but that's Silky, and that's the Silky kitty. That's where we started calling it just a Silky stray kitty, and now her name is Silky. She's luckily already fixed and stuff. Anyways, let me finish this up with the hospital. So I'm in the hospital, and they are telling me that I have pneumonia, and that I have they don't know why my fever was so high. So they start giving me antibiotics in my IV. I come to, it's 2 in the morning on the 16th, I guess, or the 17th. Yeah. And my wife will be arriving at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. She pulls in. She flew overnight, like emergency. got there within 36 hours from when I got to the hospital, and I was awake by the time she got there. Like literally was waking up just hours before she arrived. And I thought I was dreaming because I saw her walk in the room, and you hear all the beeping and the hospital noises, and I'm hooked up to all these things and the oxygen and the IVs, and I have a port for them to do injections in my chest, and yeah, it was crazy. So then they tell me, what did you take? Like what substance did you take? You're overdosing. And I was like, what? Like, I thought I was dreaming. And in this kind of podunk hospital. So I know this stream's gonna get now demonetized because of the words I've said, but I don't care. But yeah, so it's gonna be they said it's gotta be something. Like, we did a blood test and we don't see the normal stuff that quote unquote you kind of people normally have. I was like, my kind of people. So I'm feeling kind of threatened in this bed, like unable to move. They got me on an IV, and they give me a little bit of morphine in my IV and Ativan because I kept tossing and turning for the imaging that they had all night long. They were doing CT scans, they were doing all these scans, which I don't know how relevant or necessary some of them were. But this little hospital, they definitely wanted to get all the labs and billing they could. I mean, they were testing my blood every 6 hours for things that didn't need to be tested. And I know all this now, coming to Seattle, to the big city, and having a consult with a actual general physician, my general physician, and a person who was there to consult when you go to a hospital out of state to get all your information in order, and all that. Uh, so like to try to like make care, what's it called, continuity of care, seamless, which is cool that that exists. And I went into that place in Florida, and while I'm there, there's a guy sitting with me in the middle of the night, and I started having stomach problems. Let's just say I was having very runny stomach problems every 15 minutes, to the point where I was having accidents and I needed a diaper. Um, I was stuck in a bed, soiled, in this bed with the AC on, and I'm shivering with the fever. The bed soiled, smells awful. I'm throwing up and having other issues. And I've got my IVs in, and the things are beeping. And I was like, what is going on? Yeah. And I didn't know if it was food poisoning or what had happened at this point. I assumed it was dehydration at first, but it was getting worse even though they were hydrating me. And part of it is that I am allergic to contrast dye, to organic iodine. As you guys know from shellfish, when I touched a crayfish, you guys saw what happened to my face and my skin not that long ago. Well, they put that in my veins, in my IV, and I went into shock while I was I was already in a coma, or whatever you want to call it. I was already unconscious from my fever and everything. And they had to give me epinephrine and all that stuff. I didn't know any of this until I got home and I check through all the hospital, I requested the hospital transcripts and information, and they really casually just state like, had adverse reaction to contrast dye, and then they even had it on file that I was allergic to it, that my friend had told them that, and my mom apparently had called. So goodness for my family and friends being around. It would have been worse if they weren't, but things still got screwed up. So I end up in this hospital, and this guy is telling me, yeah, you weren't a happy customer. This nurse that was sitting with me, and or medical assistant, and he was like, you kept fighting us and trying to undo your IVs and tossing and turning and throwing up. And so Drifter's Workshop, you're saying lawyer up, and that's why I'm going to leave I'm leaving some of the details out. But I wanted to just say everything so that anybody with questions, I can just say, watch the video. I explained it all there. But the guy who brought me there, who married my wife and I, he is a copyright attorney originally, but he is now, for the last 5 or 10 years, he's been a medical malpractice lawyer for people like who can't afford it usually. He's a really cool dude. And he goes up against big hospitals that are doing systemic things wrong. So my friends didn't know all of this, but they tell me at the hospital, that they've done all these tests. I didn't even know all the tests they did. They did a CT scan, they did a PET scan, which I don't know why they did both. They did x-rays of my lungs, several of them, like every few hours. Stuff that wasn't necessary, and hopefully I won't have to pay all of that. I mean, I have insurance, but even with insurance, the ICU and the hospital can be tens of thousands of dollars in a day. So I don't know what it's going to be yet. But here's the bad part is I left against medical advice when my wife got there, because they said that I had been difficult tossing and turning when I wasn't even conscious, and that they were thinking of filling out the Baker Act. And I said, what's that? Well, it's a 5150 in most states, is what it's known as. And that's when you're a harm to yourself or someone else. They can hold you for 72 hours in a padded room, locked to a bed. And I was still extremely sick. I was trying to get up to go to the bathroom. They'd already put 5 IV bags through me at this point. It'd been 36 hours. And I'm talking to the nurse, and he said, yeah, when that doctor comes on rounds next, he might be doing a Baker Act because they think you took some sort of substance like a drug. They got my drug tests back. I had nothing in my system other than what I was prescribed, and an herbal supplement that I had taken that tested positive because it has poppy in it, that tested positive for like the constituent parts. But they didn't do just a cup test. They did the high tech test that breaks down all the chemicals. So they even could see that it wasn't popping for like or like street drugs or something. So they said, we think you bought your normal drugs and they were cut with something else, like like spice or something, and you're having a bad trip, and that's why you're so dehydrated and blah blah blah. And they wrote drug interaction / overdose on the board in my room, and I realized that. And so when my wife arrived, even though she was thinking these doctors are nice and everything, I was like, I got to get out of here. So we're on day 3, started day 3, and I'm like, I'm out. I'm signing out right now. And I left, even though I was scared to death, thinking I need to get to another hospital maybe. So we made it. I mean, we get out. She's furious with me. My friends are furious with me. Everybody's pissed off at me, and I'm not explaining myself much. I'm just really tired and weak. So we get to the hotel, and I start explaining what was going on and what I'd overheard. And I had gotten the info of that nurse, or medical assistant, the guy who had mentioned what was going on and who was watching me all night long, and who was, taking notes when I had to go to the bathroom, taking notes when they changed the IV, all that kind of stuff. And it was not when I was younger, when I was a kid, I've been arrested for drugs a few times, all on my minor record. But in Florida, they decided also, and I didn't know this either, but they withheld all my medications that I take back home. So I hadn't had any of that in 3 days either. Um, Hello, honey. Welcome home. And so it was a bad situation. We got to a hotel, and my wife is freaking incredible as she just walked in the door, but she took care of me. She got me, bone broth soup or onion, what's it called? French onion soup and chicken noodle soup and tons of Gatorade. We got a script from the on-call, I guess RN, not even the doctor when I looked at the script, when I left for a broad spectrum Z-Pack antibiotics. I know a little bit about medicine. I've had so many trips to the freaking hospital with my autoimmune issues where they think it's one thing and it's something else. At one point they overdose, or I mean, um, at one point they were like, um, you know, lecturing me about how I'd be dead in 5 years if I didn't change my ways and things like that. Um, and how my liver and like my potassium's off and all this stuff. Well, come to get to Seattle, and my regular doctor, who is a general internal medicine and diabetes specialist, family medicine, he looks at it, and I looked at it too on the phone when you can see your health stuff on the app, and I'm like, these things aren't that out of whack. A lot of them, but it was in their head that I was this. I came in a tie dye. I came in with sandals on, no freaking shoes. I mean, I look scruffy. My teeth are jacked up, which I was down there to get fixed too, to have more work done on my teeth. So yeah, they definitely were kind of writing me off in that sense. And I I I was scared. I was really scared that they were gonna in Florida also, it's no joke. That Baker Act law, they can say just the act of even smoking pot could be considered harming yourself, or show a mindset of harming yourself. So I was really scared that they were gonna like somehow try to hold me and then bill me and all this stuff. And luckily, we got out of there. Um, we didn't know what was going to happen though. We stayed in this hotel room, and my wife was just a wreck, worrying about me. I was nervous because they tell me you're gonna die, basically. But I knew to some degree it was hyperbole because they were like, uh, "You're gonna, you're gonna die of X, Y, and Z. You got bad stuff on the street, like spice or K2 or whatever." Um, and I knew like I hadn't taken anything. I hadn't even had my normal medications. Um, so I knew that that's not what it was. But they did have my friend go through my phone, and he's trying to figure out like, did he meet up with someone here or like what happened? And now Florida, yes, does have medical. They do have a license. But that's kind of a new thing still. But in Florida, it's still a big deal for possession. Whereas Washington State, that's just not going to happen. So, anyways, yeah, I left. I signed a thing saying like, yeah, I might die, blah blah blah. I was like, just get me the hell out of here. So then I just was too weak to do anything for like 4 days, and had 102 fever when I woke up each morning for 2 more days. We got I had what is it called? Zithromycin, and two other a prodrug and an antibiotic mixed together, amoxiclav or something like that, I think is what it was. Anyways, I have taken a lot of antibiotics, and that wasn't helping my stomach either. But we get home, and the doctor's like, now that I've had a checkup, now I've rested, I'm feeling better, everything. But I have had edema a lot in my feet, swelling and stuff, and it totally went away. So if anybody's a doctor or knows what's up, they told me basically that that they'd hydrated me and stuff, but my salts were all very, very low. My potassium, my phosphorus, my magnesium, all the stuff you need in your aquarium, right, was all screwed up. Stephen P, thank you so much, buddy. Uh, Glad to see you in better health. Wow, a $20, man, that's very, very kind of you, man. Thank you. I may very well need it for the bills. I don't know. We're hopefully going to do a giveaway for the fact that I'm at 50K subs. I can't tell you guys how happy I am that the channel is still going at this point, honestly. But yes, I want to do a giveaway. I'm just kind of in a point right now financially where I'm waiting to see what happens. So hopefully I can get some sponsors for a giveaway, and we'll get something going maybe in the next week or two. But anyways, um, we get home. My wife has us. I rented a car for 2 weeks. I was supposed to go talk to the Space Coast Club over in Daytona area and Cape Canaveral, and that I was going to give a totally different talk there. Then today I'm supposed to be down in Portland, and I just don't have the energy. Yesterday I was they're still looking at my blood and trying to figure stuff out, And yesterday when they tried to take my blood, they said that my arms were so badly mangled and collapsed by the other people, by the other IVs and things, that they couldn't they couldn't even draw my blood. So they were like, go drink a gallon of water, wait a day or two, and come back in, and we'll take it from your hand or your feet. We could get it if we keep trying and trying, but they're like, but you're just, all the spots that are easy to get have already been punctured and or are not holding up and things like that. It was just crazy. Oh, thank you very much. Outside in aquatics, buddy. Good to see you. Says $5 towards the giveaway fund. Right on. I will make note of that because giving away stuff a lot of times requires shipping. So yeah, I'll definitely put it towards the channel and towards doing a giveaway in the near future. We'll definitely take care of that. Yeah, somebody's saying I'm taking lithium for mental health and cluster headaches and things like that. Yeah, so I used to have cluster headaches and then migraines. Those are awful. I haven't had one in years, knock on wood, and thank goodness. But yeah, I had terrible headache while I was there. And so my doctor finds out, hey, guess what? There's no indication here. Your blood tests, even the x-ray, there's no indication of specifically pneumonia. They are just grasping at straws, basically. It could have been pneumonia. It could have been that you had allergies and inflammation. Could have been your autoimmune issues. And it could have been that you had a viral thing. So it turns out, looking at the symptoms and things, most likely heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and triggered, like, I was already dehydrated, but I'd been drinking water. I'd been drinking a lot of water. And what I did was I washed out all my good electrolytes by drinking too much water, probably. So I probably washed out my electrolytes, at least to some degree, then got more dehydrated. then my internal body heat started going up, especially because I didn't, being from Washington, not getting a break from 85, 86-degree heat at night. And then the weird part though is that I was so cognitively out of it, like not responding and or hallucinating and delusional, and I don't remember any of that for like 18 hours of that. Really scary. um and I'm feeling better, but it came on so quickly, like within 3 hours or 2 hours of even knowing that I wasn't feeling great, to the point of being in a coma essentially, or blacked out and mentally just out of my mind. um so I want to really just thank you guys, now that you know the story of what happened and why I wasn't around for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Didn't get to film anything in Florida, really. I went collecting for 2 days, got a little bit of film of that, and then we came straight home. My wife came home, lost the rental car. We lost a week on the rental car, and then I just rested when I got home. I've still just been sleeping a lot, trying to stay hydrated. Um, Ingus says, I had a guy at work with a urinary tract infection get fully psychotic. Body does weird things. Brain, yes. Urinary tract infections in men, especially elderly men. It's very common for that to cause complete mental, like psychosis, like from the fever and whatnot. Also, there's a number of things that can cause that. Pneumonia can do the same. And guys, I just saw. Thank you. You guys are far too kind. Hold on one moment. This trackpad on this computer is something special in that it does not work well. But I saw a super chat here, and I want to put it on the screen if this thing will cooperate with me. There we go. Emma the Sea Witch. Thank you very kindly, Emma. Uh, so glad you're doing better. That Florida heat is no joke. Yeah, definitely. And you know what they told me too when I was like, was this heat stroke? Seriously, thank you. When they were like, is this, I said, is this heat stroke? What could be this strong, this severe? And they were like, well, it could be, but you know, uh, and the nurse guy that was there was like, well, I'm out in the sun all day every day for work. Sometimes it might, used to be. And everyone here, and everyone who lives around here has to deal with the heat and the sun, and they don't lose their freaking minds and end up in the hospital essentially. And that was his logic slash lecture to me, trying to convince me that it was due to substances and other things that I wasn't telling them about or whatever. And yeah, so just wild, wild times. I hold on, guys. Can you still hear me? I don't know what this is about. Hold on. My computer is being a little nuts. If you guys can hear me still. Got it. Oh, ad blocker tried to update right in the middle of StreamYard. Hold on, guys. Let me try to. I don't know if you can hear me or not, if I'm even on the screen or not. So if you guys can hear, oh, I just saw the screen. If you guys can hear me, great. I don't know why the computer's malfunctioning as such, but it is. Come on. Come on, trackpad. I'm gonna have to get a mouse. Sorry, guys. Then we'll be on to a different topic, but I just wanted to check in. I know this isn't fish related, but I wanted to just tell you guys how much you mean to me and that I really appreciate the support and the kind and compassionate words that everybody has. Yeah, there we go. Okay. The kind and compassionate words that everybody has sent my way and everything. I can't. I really can't begin to say how moved I am, and my wife too. You know, it's amazing to see all you incredible people and members of the channel. I know some of you, it's a buck 99, and that's incredible that you guys find value in the channel. And I feel so bad that I didn't make any content for 2 weeks. But those of you who dig that, thank you for sticking with me, waiting through this. And Sev Sense, thank you so much for the super sticker. That's very kind of you. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And oh, holy smokes, more people got you guys. Idiosyncrasy, $5 super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, I'm not trying to elicit sympathy here. I'm trying to tell you why I've been a slacker. I'm trying to tell you why I'm saying sorry. Speckled Jim, £5, also super sticker. Thank you. I really do appreciate it, and I really do appreciate memberships, you guys watching, just you guys commenting and telling me interesting things while I was sick. You know, that was really it was cool. Once could read my phone again, I wasn't in the mood to type or talk, text or anything. Nancy B in Tennessee, thank you so much, my dear friend. You are so you're such a loyal and present member of the community here. I always love reading your comments and thank you. Liquid Zoo, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Sorry, I was sick and fighting for my life. Didn't make content for 2 weeks. STFU. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that does sound kind of funny, but it's probably my fault that I was dehydrated. Definitely my fault. My medication mix and things like that didn't work out. But yeah, I need to get back down to Florida and make it up to those clubs and also to Fishtoberfest, which I'm supposed to be at in Portland right now, and I'm not there. Pile, man, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Another $10 super chat. You guys, I'm gonna, either this money will go, unless I'm broke from hospital bills, this will be going to investing into the channel, obviously, or getting interesting fish and doing species spotlight, something. But I've got lots of ideas now for some content, and hopefully I can start working on that again. It might be a little slow for a while. Today, all my energy that I have is coming to you guys. And I feel really charged and happy. My wife's probably like, wow, he sounds chipper. And it's because, I get to, I'm here. I survived. It sounds crazy that there's a chance I couldn't have survived. But anytime something like that serious with your health happens, it reminds you to be so incredibly thankful for when your body's working at least mostly how it should be, right? And your brain is working, and you've got your friends and family, and they're alive, and it just puts problems into perspective, big time. Yeah, idiosyncrasy. Fish guy gets dehydrated. Breaking news. Melissa, that's very kind of you. But yeah, thank you. Hey, my kitty's coming. My cat's at the door. Do you guys want to say hi to the kitty real quick? We'll say hi to the kitty real quick. So this is Silky, and she is a crazy feral cat who I'm very well uh, aware may attack my face. So I'm holding her arms. But she is a sweet cat. Now that I've spent 2 years trying to get her to be nice, but she is not very cooperative. Like she doesn't want to uh, be held probably right now. So I'm going to put her down, but I wanted to let her say hello. And she's a very tiny little kitty. She's only like 4 pounds. She's mostly fluff. So I'm going to go put her back down, let her eat her dinner. And yeah, but say goodbye, Silky. Goodbye, Silky. Look how happy she is. Look at that face. All right, guys. Sorry. Just wanted to introduce you officially to the cat. That's the surprise for the stream. And yeah, she is living the dream from the way she was living, which was on the street, getting chased by raccoons and coyotes. But she's a sweetheart. She just does what she's gonna do. She's a truly feral cat that was already one or two by the time I started trying to tame her. And now I can pick her up. Before, I couldn't even be 10 feet from her while she ate, or she'd come around and then she'd just dart off when any human would be around her. She'd hiss, she'd attack like crazy, and now she really is a sweet kitty. So yeah, Volcanic Works. Thank you so much for the super chat too. I really do appreciate it from all you guys. Thank you, and the new member too. I saw you, idiosyncras. I forget how to say the name, but I'm gonna mess it up. And I think somebody's calling. It's probably a hospital. Oh, you guys can't see the number, anyways. It's probably a hospital bill. They're probably telling me, Annie up, brah. Anyways, they try to scare you. Just so you guys know, they try to scare you when you're in a hospital. A lot of times, they'll say if you leave against medical treatment advice, you are responsible for all the procedures. You're gonna have to pay out of pocket, and that's not true. It's a bunch of crap. It's a scare tactic. Um, your insurance will still work the same unless you're doing something wildly, irresponsible. Your insurance likes to do preventative things if they're deemed necessary on their rubric. But if you leave and have less stuff done, your insurance doesn't get mad at you and not cover it. They're probably actually pretty stoked, even if it was a bad decision. Um, but yeah, I mean, it still could be a few $1,000s, just because of how ERs and stuff work, and the day in the ICU, day and a half in the ICU. Looks like they charged me 1 day for the ICU on my official paperwork. But anyways, I'm gonna take my time. That's why I'm not in Portland right now, even though it's a 3-hour drive. Rico, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Jeff Kane, Speckled Jim, Fish Tropic. I see you guys in here. Coro. I see y'all. Drifters Workshop, what's going on? So many people in here. So good to see. Your Fishy Indulgence. Is that a new channel, or are you? Did you rename yourself, or do I just not have I not memorized your name yet? I dig it. Fish and Outdoors with Lando. What's going on? And Slossers Aquatic Moose. I'm just saying hi to some of y'all I see in the chat recently because you guys are all awesome. Oscars Jungle Tanks. What's going on? Connor M. Linda Worth. Um, yeah. So, I wanted to tell you guys. Yeah. Let me give you guys an ad, but no, it's an ad that I think you'll dig. Um, so Aquatic Arts just got in like yesterday, 2 days ago. I just found out from David, the manager, which is also the owner's name. There's also someone else named David there. So that doesn't really narrow anything down when I say David and I'm talking about it. But at Aquatic Arts, they have a new section called semi-aquatic or terrestrial crabs. So now they have hermit crabs and they have like vampire crabs, right? The really colorful ones, the purple and the disco and the vampire, the the red arm one and the margarita. Like they have crazy names. But they're eat them. But they have some brand new species that are new to science too. Some of them are brand new from Indonesia. Some of them don't even have names yet. They know the genus and stuff, but they don't have names for the specific colors, morphs, and things. And they are like they need water in their tank, but they're more of a paludarium type crab. But they're carrying those now, which is pretty cool. Fiddler crabs need land. They need like at least like a tree or a branch or something to chill on. But yeah, so get 1,000 crabs and play the crab rave song. Yeah. Uh, these Daves, I know these Dave. Uh, um, so yes, um, yeah, they have them though, and right now the code should still be Fishery 15 or Fishery 10 if you've already used Fishery 15, and you get 15% off. So if you guys want anything at Aquatic Arts, that always helps me because it allows me to then buy more, get more credit and buy more fish, and then show you guys more spotlights and have a bigger menagerie. Yes, the apricot and the tangerine, those crabs, that's the kind that now they've got another like 8 or 9 new color morphs in. Also, some new snails they have in that are fully aquatic, and they have some more aquatic crabs. But you got to look at the semi-aquatic ones and then at the semi-terrestrial ones. Like there's a section for two kinds. So you may not see all of them right now because they're brand new. They were just listed and they only have a limited amount right now. They're kind of trying them out. But if you're into the hermit crab or small paludarium setup, they're really cool. You could do like some shrimp and then some crabs because the crabs mostly stay out of there. So yeah, Mercedes, thank you. And yeah, I'm feeling better. Is Aquatic Arts still doing the pet adoption promotion? They should be if it's on their website, which it was last time I looked, but I don't know. I will ask them for sure when I talk to them next, but I don't know. The red devil crabs, yeah, that's one of the new ones, I think. Fish and Outdoors with Lando. Yeah, it's those ones. I would say those kind need probably like 4 to 6 times the space on land as they would in the water. So if you had like a 20 long, you could probably have like 5 in there. You could probably keep quite a few in a 20 long, and they'd even have babies. They spawn very easily, which is cool. And they eat they're detrivores. So most of them eat, they'll eat meat, they'll eat veggies, and they'll eat waste basically. But yeah, they're really fun and cool. And also, it never tells me, but thank you so much, Fishy Indulgence, for gifting memberships. It never tells me about that, but thank you. That is awesome to let people try out the memberships. Guys, if you got a membership or you want to be a member, $1.99, it's a way to just continually support the channel and what I do. And it is so kind and thoughtful. Thank you for that. I mean, really, it's very kind, because they don't let you buy the $1.99. I think you have to pay $4.99 or $5.99 to give channel memberships, even though I set my price as low as YouTube will let us. We're not in control of ads on YouTube anymore either. They're going to be deciding what ads are. And I knew that was going to happen. And that's why I was so torn when I was arguing with Joey a year ago about doing ads or not. But I'm doing the ads because got to make a living, and I want to do this full time so I can bring you guys content full time. I'm just a little bit sad because I might not be traveling to the Amazon nearly as soon as I thought. The health issues, obviously, that I still have, not a idiosyncrasy. Thank you. Proud member right there. So guys, I gotta wrap it up, but if I'm feeling up to it, I will be back tomorrow. We'll do another live stream tomorrow. Probably mid-morning, like 11 a.m. my time to somewhere in there, midday. But I gotta go suddenly. We have a friend here who's a nurse who wanted to see me, say hello, because I've been so sick. Obviously, I have all like my family and stuff. Everybody's been kind of waiting to see me. I'm kind of a big deal. No, thank you guys so much. Sorry we didn't talk about fish, but again, if you want fish, there's some incredible fish at Aquatic Arts. Really cool crabs, new plant packs. They just got new distributors that are selling rimless tanks that come with plants and substrate and like everything you need, apparently. So check those out. You get like a rebate, and then I think it's like $150 for like a whole kit that's not like a crappy PetSmart kit. It's a JBJ tanks. So any case, guys, Mel, hello. Good to see you. I'm going to get off of here because our friends just arrived, and that's what happened to me. That's where I was. I can't thank you guys enough for sticking by, for watching the old videos. There's 1,000 videos on the channel. There should be something you like. And if you're a member, go to the community tab and go back and watch the Fishery episodes before the channel was actually called Fishery. Those are all 5 to 15 minute episodes about current events or new species, stuff like that. So you guys will have access to all of that. Screaming Fly Productions, what up? Donna Arnold, what up? But I've got to go because a nurse is here to see me, a good friend of ours. Thank you so much, you guys. You guys really do keep me going. Other than my mom, dad, my wife, I was thinking about the channel. I was thinking about letting people down and not talking, not giving my speeches that I was supposed to, and not making content. And I love doing it. I love learning, and I love sharing it with you guys and everyone being excited. So have a wonderful night or morning or whatnot, and we'll try to stream earlier in the day tomorrow so that maybe we can catch some Europeans and stuff too. And same for a replay crew. Try back in about 18 hours, and we'll try this again for another hour, as long as I've got the energy. Much love. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you guys later.